Chapter 10, The Heart of the Matter. When the regular school term ended, Carlito chose to go to summer school. He had been happy when his parents told him that he would be staying with his aunt and uncle through the summer. Carlito felt good about himself. He had started to keep a journal and wrote this one night in July when he couldn't sleep. So much to do. I love to read. Didn't know that, but I do. I love to sit outside on the porch and read and just hear the sounds of nature in the background. Bugs, bees, birds, the animals, the breeze. Marcella loves to read too. She always has a book with her. She says she wants to be a teacher, find a way to help kids. My dream, only Marcella knows, is to make movies. Gil calls them films, but whatever they are, that's what I want to do. Gil says I should go to film school. That means I gotta finish high school and get into a good college. Just like Graciela, I used to hate her. She was so perfect. But now I see that you have to have dreams. You must want something in your life or you'll have nothing. One day I want to make a movie about the time in my life, about M-Dog. He was a good person, not a gangbanger. Just a guy who wanted something for himself, friends, a place to go and be accepted. Why is that so hard for people to understand? I was almost shot once that night in the alley. I was lucky. But I know I was more than lucky. I had my dad, my Uncle Chuy, Tia Maria, all that and more. I promised myself that one day people will see a movie about a boy who started to become a man because people cared about him. One thing that Carlito had promised himself that he would do in the summer was to learn how to ride a horse. He started to ride Ulysses the Appaloosa. Sometimes in the morning light there seemed to be a faint blue glow around Ulysses due to his coloring. It was often in those early mornings that Carlito would dream his dreams and see the world's possibilities. In some way, riding Ulysses through the fields around the farm was like practicing his dreams. Carlito remembered the original Ulysses from the Greek legend. He was a wanderer who tried for 20 years to get back home to his wife, Penelope, and his son. Although his journey was hard, long, deadly, and full of adventure, Ulysses never lost sight of his home. That's how Carlito felt in the mornings when he would ride the Appaloosa. He knew that he would have to go back home and face things there. He was beginning to realize that life was challenging wherever you lived, the city, the farm, or even the heights of Machu Picchu. Didn't matter where you lived. You still had to deal with some things that you just don't go away until you face them. And he knew in his heart that he needed to mend things with his family, and that meant going home. One morning, just past dawn, he was out riding Ulysses when it came to him that he had to be back in time for high school in the fall. When he returned to the house, he called his mother and told her about his decision. She said she was very happy, and it was something she had prayed for every day. Once he made his decision to go back, he knew that he would have to say goodbye, at least for the time being, to Marcella, to Chris, and his other new friends, especially his aunt and uncle. They had done so much for him. He had learned from them what it means to grow your own food, to raise your animals, and to be there for them day in and day out. That was something that would stay with him for a long time. The first things he thought to pack were his puppet theater and puppets. He held Popo, who looked like a teenager pirate rock star. As he looked at him with his boots, sword, and leather vest, he knew he was going to give him to Marcella. She had been there all through the art project and helped Carlito paint the set and puppets. She had been there through all the rehearsals and helped him with ideas and suggestions. She was a true friend and yet more than a friend. That afternoon he called her and said he was coming over. He put Popo into a box and wrapped it with Christmas wrapping. It was the only wrapping paper in the house. "Hey," she said when she came to the door. "Hey," he said back. They hugged and then he gave her the box. She seemed to know what it was, and when she opened it, she let out a soft scream. She held Popo in her arms for almost a minute and then told Carlito, "Whenever I see him, I'll think of you. Whenever I need a friend, he'll be there in my room. Whenever I wonder what you're doing, I'll look at Popo and know that everything's okay. Thank you for this." "Hey, it's what I wanted to do," Carlito said. "Take care of him. I'll be back for him." "I hope so," Marcella replied as she reached out to hug Carlito one more time. 2 days later, he was taking the bus back to Los Angeles. It was the same route that he had taken when he had left to attend M-Dog's funeral, but this time he was happy. He was going home to a new life. As he looked out the bus window, he saw how beautiful the flat plain could be. The sun was starting its daily downward descent. Evening was on its way. There was a golden light over the land that spread onto the highway and into Carlito's heart. The goldness spread all the way up to the sky and beyond. It had been a long time since he had known the feeling, but now Carlito realized that he had hope again. To be continued.